And we're live. It's Whiskey Watches the Wheels, and we are back after a short hiatus. I am Matt. Gentlemen, how we doing? And introduce yourselves.
I'm doing great, and I am still Casey.
I'm George.
I'm James.
Awesome, man. So James is back with us tonight. We ain't seen James's beautiful face there in quite some time. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yes. How's everyone doing? Everyone's life's been very crazy for me. How's everyone else doing tonight?
Not the same.
Same old crazy times, working, trying to stay afloat.
It is crazy economic times right now. I know Casey and I are both in different industries, but similar in the fact they're in sales and things are up and down. Dude, I can't speak for you, but with us, there's no rhyme or reason. Like usually, I've been doing this 22 years, and stereotypically, you have peaks and valleys in every season. You always do. But you can kind of predict, okay, we're coming into income tax. Things are going to kind of pick up here. They're going to slow down, whatever. It literally will be balls to the wall. You can't even breathe 1 week. And the next week is fucking the faucet's turned off and it's crickets. It's insane. I mean, it's nuts right now. So
That is wild. My business doesn't, flow quite like that. But I think that would drive me insane.
It's definitely taking its toll on me. Look at all the gray in my beard, man. It's insane. So, let's anybody drinking anything special tonight? I got water, so you guys know what I'm drinking.
That's something new.
What you got, George?
Got Kentucky Owl confiscated.
I don't know that I've even ever heard of that. I mean,
I don't believe
even though I don't drink a lot. I don't drink much at all, but I know the names of stuff because of the other guys and everything, and I don't know if I've ever even heard of Kentucky Owl.
Who?
Yeah. So
Kentucky Owl.
Who?
It's not as popular because from an MSRP standpoint, it's pretty expensive, right? And there's a lot of really good bourbons that are cheaper than it. So that's probably why you haven't heard of it. But I don't know. It was good. I enjoy it. 96 proof, so right, and not up there at all. Distilled in Kentucky, and then bottled by Kentucky Owl in Louisiana. So
okay,
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk like I know what I'm talking about. So it's very drinkable. What's the tasting notes?
Oh man, I wasn't prepared for that. I'm not really a tasting notes guy, but it's like
Wet.
It is wet.
Ethanol-y?
Go for it.
It tastes
right?
like ethanol.
Being a 96 proof, it's kind of light. I like things a little bit more, but it still has a lot of flavor for something still right under 100 proof, and it has that kind of lightness and then a good Kentucky hug, right? So it still has it's just I say more flavor than average for its proof. So
But
it's good.
Its cost, you wouldn't do a mixer with it.
Its
correct?
cost is expensive. I mean, you're talking about probably $100, $105 MSRP for it, I think. So yeah, that's why you don't hear people talk about it, right? So
Well, here's some info on it. It was a dead brand, right? A dead label from I want to say Prohibition, somewhere thereabouts. Deadman Dixon purchased the label and brought it back, and you may know his name because he's now 2XO bourbon. But he pulled it's all sourced bourbon, and he brought that label back, and it got famous early in his tenure because I think they just had some stellar sourcing stuff before the bourbon boom, and then he sold it. The character of the bourbon has been different since his departure, and my understanding now is that
do you know?
A decade ago. It's been a long time.
Okay.
And my understanding now is Kentucky Owl's in bankruptcy or going through bankruptcy. I think they're failing now. But anywho, Deadman Dixon does some good bourbon, and his 2XO brand I think is pretty good, and he's putting out a lot of juice on that label now too.
I probably bought this bottle maybe 4 years ago, I would say. So that's why I asked when the sale.
I don't think he's been
kind of wondering if I bought it.
I don't think he's been a part of it for quite some time.
They still have his name and like the print of his signature on the back label. So they're still using his name as part of their marketing.
Old labels. They're not moving enough bottles.
It's possible.
No joke.
It
about
doesn't
you,
say
Casey?
the age length.
Correct.
Casey, what are you drinking, buddy?
I am drinking a Lucky Dog. The seltzer stuff. This is what's his name? Dave Portnoy's brand.
Oh,
But,
Barstool.
yeah, it's a Barstool thing. High Nooners and this. But I like it's got no like carbonation in it. It's really light, and I think it's a good little drink.
You and I differ there. Like you like the what's the energy drinks that you drink? Celsius.
Celsius, yeah.
Do you drink the carbonated ones or the non-carbonated?
I like the no fizz.
Exactly. So I bought a case of those when me and Stacey went on the cruise, and I'm like, oh, I had Celsius before I get these. And I got on the boat, and they're all the tea ones, and they were like no fizz. I'm like, fuck, this sucks, dude. I mean, they tasted fine. They were tasted good, but I'm used to like my Monsters, and they all have carbonation, so I'm used to that carbonation. I need that kick.
I prefer the
Yeah,
carbonation too.
Yeah.
You can buy the Celsius in the powders and pour it in your own water. That was the first time I tried the no fizz. And
Okay.
it definitely tasted different, even though it was the same flavor.
They were. I mean, the teas were. I mean, the lemonades. I think one was the tea and the rest were lemonades, and they were good. But I just couldn't get over the no carbonation.
Sorry, Casey, I cut you off.
It's all right. I was just gonna say it's like a real lemonade. But I like the no fizz. They have a couple things that are fizzy, but for whatever reason, I found that I like ginger ale and like Coca-Cola, and then that's it on the fizz.
Whiskey, watches, wheels, and energy drinks.
That's it. I'm a connoisseur of that now. Listen, now I can talk about that. James, what you drinking,
today.
buddy?
Just
you drinking water?
Today. Yeah.
No THC drinks?
I was wondering what was
no,
in
not today.
That green
No.
glass.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got my green glass, so you can't tell what's in here. I could have told you
I'm
anything,
very
actually.
curious.
That's right.
Time I saw you take a drink.
Well, last time I did one of those THCs, it was a 10 milligram, 10 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up the next morning to go to work, and I think I was high. So,
like, what's my name?
Is the 10 and 10 just a name, or does it stand for something else?
no, it was 10 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of what's the other thing? CBD.
Yeah.
Oh,
CBD, and it could send you for a loop. That's for sure. So
James woke up and he's like, "Wait, I can taste my thoughts."
So no, I haven't done one of those in a little while, but I do enjoy them. I think I just had it at too late at night. It was like at 10 o'clock instead of 7. So yeah, that doesn't make for a productive day at the office.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, those watching us on the YouTubes might notice, James hasn't been here in a little while, and his background has changed. He got some new pad,
New digs.
and new digs, and got a new office. And look at that, man! It looks spiffy. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so bought a house here in Charlotte with Paula, and just going through and getting the house set up and getting used to the new neighborhoods and access to everything. So it's been fantastic as far as location goes. It's just a slow roll, getting the house done and where you want it to be. So the office here is 90% done. I don't have any blinds or anything. So they look cool back there because they're blurry, but they're paper.
There you go.
No, it's been great.
Well, yeah. Good, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I went from 0 garage to a garage where I could fit 5 cars. So that's been a nice change.
Instant pay raise, because those that don't know James personally might know he was keeping some of his cars in like storage. What was it? Like storage, and that is going to add up
arm and a leg
money wise. Yeah.
So a bit more expensive house, but in the end, I think I wind up paying less a month.
There you go. That's right.
Because of the savings, right?
Anybody that's never priced storage is not cheap. It is not cheap.
Yeah, and they get you, right? Because you get all your shit in this storage, and then they're just going to hold it over your head. Mm-hmm. So, by the way, it's going up $100 a month, right? And then what are you going to do? Either you go through it and get rid of it.
What are you going to do?
Right.
So, no, it's been great. So that's why I haven't been around. Just really busy making adjustments and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this before, but for those listening, thank you very much for listening. And our podcast, we used to record every single week. Our intention is still to record every week, but life has been busy for all of us. And you guys have listened to us long enough that you know that this is not our primary job. Far from it. This is our fun stuff. And sometimes primary work and life gets in the way. And so we record as much as we can, and we will continue to do so. But sometimes you may notice a couple weeks between episodes, and that's just the way it works out.
And a revolving cast of characters.
Revolving cast of characters, thankfully. Yeah, exactly. Anybody wearing any fun watches or anything tonight? Something special? There you go. I do recognize that. That's the Kevin. I like that.
What is that?
That was one of the watch that Kevin got for Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. What about you, George? Oh, James, what you got? Ooh, James. Is that a UFO or is that a...
No, it's Omega.
Oh, okay.
II.
That's it.
Omega Speedmaster Mark II, 1969, reference 145.014 with the 861 caliber movement.
I don't know that I've even seen that watch before.
Really? It's been on my list for quite a while, and I've had my boy Josh tracking one down, and it showed up by surprise, and I grabbed it.
Gotta love it.
So, yeah.
Sometimes it's meant to be.
Absolutely. But, Josh will hunt it down for you.
So, oh, yeah. It's good to have a guy like that in your Rolodex.
Absolutely.
And George, what do you have, buddy?
Yeah, I have I've shown this before, my Sheffield.
Yep. I was thinking of you today.
Automatic.
I briefly listened to Spike's podcast this morning, and he mentioned a new Sheffield coming out, and I immediately thought of George. Like, oh, George.
He designed like 5 of them with Sheffield. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So they'll have
those
like,
are nice watches.
Yeah. I mean, for value, right? Yeah. I like them a lot. Yeah. I mean, this is probably the one that I wear on my wrist the most. Like my quote unquote daily driver watch, right? Daily. Yeah. So
watches can be terribly expensive, and they don't have to be expensive. I think 2 weeks ago I wore my old G-Shock for like 4 days in a row.
There you go.
It doesn't matter, And tonight I'm wearing just one of the ones that I made, my Thornhill. This is the Alexander model. So,
what is that watch you got from Kevin, Casey? I'm not familiar with that.
It's I don't know the model number, but it's a Seiko Quartz.
Okay.
With the chronograph.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it their
Kevin bought each one of us one.
The Mecca, or like that hybrid, where like I think the second hand I think is mechanical, but the minute and the hour are quartz. It's like a hybrid movement.
Yeah, it's their hybrid movement because the quartz is what drives the chronographs. So, yeah.
Sure, I learned something.
There you go. Absolutely.
It keeps time.
Yes, it does. Good time. Well, there's been a lot going on in the car world since we spoke last. James has been on a couple different rallies, and Casey went to Porsche Platica. So I want to kick the tires and kind of just hear about it because I didn't go to any of it and didn't really watch any YouTube stuff. I saw a little bit of coverage on them on Instagram, but that was about it. So I want to hear it from you guys. So who wants to start?
I'll start just because mine will be pretty short. So Platica, which is in Knoxville, they do it in a place called the Quarry. It's an old rock quarry. Super, super cool location. The rock quarry is very cool. You walk in, and I couldn't get my Instagram to load on Chrome, but you walk in, and first you walk through like a Sotheby's barn, like advertising thing. They got a singer in there. They give you, or they don't give you, but you can get like a margarita or whatever. And then you walk in, and as you're walking up into the quarry, Platica is up on a rock wall. They've got just freaking some awesome cars laid out on the lawn. They did really cool stuff, and I don't know how they've done it the first 2 years, but this year they kind of matched some like flowers around the car to the colors of the car. So you walk up to a purple car, and there's kind of like purple flowers around it. white car, white flowers around it, which again is kind of weird, but also kind of cool and different. And half
For
the
the
crowd,
Insta.
yeah, exactly. But like half the crowd was female. So there was a large, female contingency. And I think that part of that is probably why they do these sort of this sort of like less industrial, less car, but more artsy. But super cool cars. A lot of the cars we've seen at Luft or, other places. So some of them, kind of look familiar, but the crowd is not as large as Luft. And so you're able to really get up on the car, see it. Of course, nobody's touching anything. Some of the
Put
doors
your beer
are
down
open
on
and
it.
the bays are open.
Check your Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. But a cool, intimate setting. It's not near as big as Luft, but I'll tell you, it got pretty busy. Ashley and I had bought the early bird, the early ticket. The whole event started at noon. We were able to get in at 11. However, we did not show up till about 11:45. And they're doing construction on the road that leads into the quarry. So you're actually parking outside of the event, and they have like tour buses that you're loading up, taking down. They drop you off in circle. Well, we got there, and the line waiting for the bus was at least 100 people deep for, opening at noon. Fortunately, we saw a worker. We're like, hey, we've got, early bird pass. Is there anything we do? They let us skip the line. They gave us a ride in like a new Cayenne straight to the event. So that worked out well. As we were there, they had some food trucks. So they had lots of drink tables set up. So all that was good. The merchandise was almost as bad as Luft. Like we waited in a line, probably 30 people deep, and they were running out of stuff like very quickly, like 12:15, they were running out of stuff. And then as we kind of got done, we ran into like Josh Vandergriff, some of his guys, talked to them, whatever. So it's about 2:30, we decided to take off, and we get on a little private bus to take us back. And as we're walking back to the car, the line had to be 500 people deep. It was insane. And this was, like 2:30, 3:00, and the thing shuts at 5. And so I don't know how quickly they were getting people in, but I'm telling you, they were moving some folks, around. So all in all, a cool event. I'd go back. Knoxville was a lot of fun. We went out with a friend of mine, went downtown, hung out at his house, whatever. But Knoxville is a very beautiful city. Having not spent much time in Knoxville itself, more, the surrounding areas, but never in Knoxville. Cool old, downtown area, little festival going on. So cool event. Highly recommend it. Would definitely go back.
So
Awesome.
Even with the logistics issue, you would do that again?
I would definitely have the early bird ticket, and I would show up at the early bird time. That would have been better, like 11, like right when they allowed access to start. I think that would have been better, but we'd been up late the night before hanging out, and 11:30, 11:45 felt a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I know they promoted the hell out of it this year because the past 2 years, I think it was kind of under the radar. And this year, it certainly was not. So maybe they were overwhelmed as well. So with the construction, do you think that threw it for a loop completely?
I'm not sure how the parking would have been different with the construction that not there, because of the sheer number of cars. You're not able to park on site. Like there's no parking per se. They had a small area where they were doing like a Porsche corral. I'm not sure how much you could have paid to park down there, but getting into that was a nightmare because you had, like I said, the construction on the road and just like the buses trying to get in and out, regular traffic going up and down the road. And the corral parking was, I don't know, room for 60 cars maybe. So it was the event space itself, where the cars are displayed, felt really good with the number of people. Like you're able to get around and move around. The part that felt tight was parking and getting in and out. So I don't know how you can make that better because that space is only so big. But I recommend, like, I think it's worth going and seeing how it kind of continues to play out, because I think it was a cool event.
I would really like to go. However, the last 2 years it's been on a rally weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's also interesting that they do it on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I think
that is interesting.
for those that show their cars, it's a 3-day event. So like I was right, they do actually a track day on that Friday, a driving rally in the mountains on that Saturday, and then the show on Sunday. And that might be why the timing of the show is on Sunday.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. I wasn't aware of that at all.
And it's only 5 hours long.
Wow.
And this year, right, featured the
That's
911R, not just like the 2016, right, the 991, but also I saw the original, right, 1967.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll just shout out my wife's Instagram, Ashley Egg 7, on Instagram. But it was really pretty. Like, there's walking in.
I mean,
There's
how many of
This is not fun.
how many of like the 1967 911Rs did they have? Do you remember? Because there's only
not a whole lot.
I think there's only 20 production and 4 prototypes of that original 911R, right? So they would have had a significant percentage, right, of that. I think maybe 4 or 5. Yeah. I think
I was going to say 3 or 4, so 4 or 5 sounds right.
But then I know, right, the 2016, right, the 991 911R, they had all different variety of colors and a lot of those.
Yeah, and they were displayed prominently out front in that kind of starburst thing. So they had all the different colors of the different stripes colors that they had done and whatever. They were all out front. So
I saw a bunch of them marketed or on Instagram from Graham Rahal, right? So I'm guessing they were his customers' clients, right? And then were sent down to the show from there. But they're right here in Indianapolis, 2 hours from me.
Well, I think it was James's point. I'd never even heard of this show before until this year. It got zero press in the years prior. This was the very first year I'd even heard of it before.
I think last year a lot of the press followed the show because it featured the Carrera GT, and then when that kind of came out, they're like, "Oh, whoa, what is this?" Right? How'd they get all these Carrera GTs together? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to James' point, right? The promotion, right? I mean, Harper, right? He was on how many podcasts, right, talking about this? He hit pretty much every car podcast I listened to. He was on it, right? So, yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. And speaking of car shows, we have Luft coming to Atlanta on the East Coast again.
I think I might try to make it there. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see.
I was all excited and I was going to make it down, but it conflicts with an event that I can't miss.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So James, you were at not 1, 2 different rallies back to back, being Superman, Super Driver. So tell us which ones you were at and how they were and how everything went, how the shenanigans all worked out.
Got it. So I guess this is about 3 weeks ago now at this point, 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one I did was what was the name of it?
Smokies GT.
Smokies GT. Yeah, that's it. Smokies GT. So I took the GT3 on that one, and it was cool. It started out at VIR. So for me, there was a single track day, but you could sign up for 2 track days before heading out to the rest of the rally. So drove up, which was fun, to VIR. I've never been to VIR. I've driven past it, but never on it. And took the GT3 out there and had a blast. I just drove it kind of as best I could.
The way it is meant to be driven.
Yeah. So I didn't really do a lot of recon on YouTube or anything like that. So I just kind of figured it all out. It took quite a while. There's a few technical areas on there to figure out. And I did a ride along, and he drove a completely different course than I did. But just learning it was a blast. No, I didn't do the Lee Keen. Lee was there, and he was doing laps for donations for cystic fibrosis. And everyone that did a lap with him essentially said that as far as I never realized how much curb you could use, right? So Lee went ripping out there in a
But those curves are rough.
yeah, but he was going nuts. So, or he was just being Lee, I guess, right? So that was not my experience. But Dave was with me in his GT3 RS, and he was behind me at the start of the track event. And I went around a few laps, looked up, and there was a different car behind me. So his car crapped out on the first lap, did a lap and a half.
You're kidding me.
1,300 miles on his car, and it broke down with fuel delivery issue.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was a bit of a bummer. It went into limp mode. He was able to get it actually back to Charlotte, and they fixed it the next day, and he rejoined. Since Smokies GT is a 5-day event if you do everything, so it's quite a commitment. It is run insanely well. So completely different experience for me, having point to point as opposed to a home base rally. So it's like I said, it started up at VIR, and from there we drove to Asheville to Grove Park Inn, stayed from there, and then we went to Paco Lodge for lunch and did those roads up there, and then headed down to Atlanta. So it was an adjustment as far as we're at these great places, but you're literally in, at least for me, literally in rally mode. So it was kind of hard to relax after that, because you knew that you had an early morning to pack and get out and do all that stuff and do your day. What was really interesting is that there were no routes. So you just kind of had to find your way. So some people had routes, other people just winged it. So that was different. The logistics were insane. Everything was run very, very well. There were no hiccups there. It was just a different adjustment. There are many people that, I want to make sure that it doesn't come across weird, but there were many people that had done it for many years. So they had kind of their own group. So as a first timer, it was a little bit hard to get in there and meet some new people, but ultimately met some new people. It was their first time, and we all drove together and we had a blast. If you don't know, it's a big fundraiser for cystic fibrosis. So I believe it raised 1.6 million.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. But it was just done really well, really well. I'm glad I did it. I did over 1,600 miles that week.
That's fantastic.
And then got home for 2 days, turned around and went back out to Stanton, Virginia for Ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
So that was with the air cooled. So I took the SC up there, and it was the complete opposite, right? So you had all these crazy logistics. Then we get to Stanton, Virginia, and we're staying in the single hotel, staying downtown. Knew everybody, of course, from doing it, and we just had a blast. What was nice is that on Smokies, there's a huge Miami crew, so know all those guys. So there was a good group. There's a big group from Charlotte as well, so knew all those guys. But they were doing their thing, so you just kind of had to meet some new people. But then, of course, when we go to Ruckus, a whole different Miami crew comes up essentially. So ran with those guys, and that was great. We had a blast. What was really interesting is over the last few rallies, we've kind of taken it down a notch or two and just enjoyed kind of the experience more than the 9/10 on the roads, because these roads are just getting busier and busier.
Yes.
And
come to my side, James. Come to my side. You guys have given me shit for years. Come to my side. It's nice over here.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
It's like not quite.
So, yeah, not quite that slow.
Yeah.
I'm still going forward, not backwards.
Mm-hmm. It's all good.
No, it was really good. Had had the fun on Friday, as far as doing the, a little bit pushing it. How about that? Pushing it on Friday. Saturday, it was a bit more chill. And we just had a really good time. It was a really nice change. So it's, yes, rallies back to back, but two completely different experiences. So it wasn't just like this long 2 weeks of doing the same thing. Separate cars, different speeds. One's mountains, one's on the track and mountains. So completely different, highly recommended. But Stanton, Virginia is really beautiful. The downtown has a really nice charm. I don't know if you've been there, Casey, at all, but it's really nice. And I really like how they closed down some of the streets for the weekend and make it a walking mall. So you can just kind of leave the hotel, hit restaurants, bars, all of that stuff, and recuperate for the next day. That was a little bit different than with Smokies, where the recuperation, like you couldn't, at least for me, I couldn't do the heavy partying and then get up and do it the next day. So it was just a lot, but it was a great experience. I'm glad I did it. And of course, with the air cooled stuff, it's just as fun with less speed. The GT3 has all the nannies. It's super quick. And then you start talking about the GT3 RS with additional nannies and information. It's kind of crazy. The RS made my GT3 kind of look like a toy almost. Very rudimentary car with only a few adjustments, where Dave had to Google all his adjustments for track for his setup, right?
Wow.
Unfortunately, he didn't get to really test that, but
his is a 991.2 like yours?
No, his is a 992.
It's a 992.
So it's a 25. Yeah. So that's another level up, right? But what was really interesting is, we've run these roads at from Tapaco, and we did Tail of the Dragon, and we did it in the rain. So that was a completely different experience. Just, you have these big horsepower cars. It's not like going up there in an air cooled where you're doing a certain amount, but you could get squirrely pretty quickly. So that was interesting. And I'm not a huge fan of Tail of the Dragon. It's just super dangerous. As a matter of fact, we saw that there were a few deaths today up there with some motorcycle folks, and that's terrible. And I don't really worry about me so much. I always worry about everyone else, just because the reputation that it has, and it's so twisty. And I think people think they can go faster than they actually can. Yeah, certainly with the curves.
Well, we all see those videos, right?
Yeah. And we don't want to see those videos. No, there's so many great roads up there that are way, way better than that road and a lot less dangerous. But while we were up there, the week before, there was issues. So there was a big police presence out there, and they're really cracking down, because we may bring up 150 GT cars, but that doesn't include all the Miatas. That doesn't include all the Corvettes. That doesn't include all the Ferrari Club stuff that goes on up there. So I think at this point, you're going to start seeing a bit more pushback from the people that actually live there. Like, yes, we like having the additional, visitors and the income that it brings to the area, but at what cost, right? So I think things are just changing there, and there may be other places that we need to spread out on. There's other great roads on the East Coast besides North Carolina and Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, the more, every year it just seems like Tail of the Dragon gets more popularized and more media press and more of this, and that's just where anybody that is a weekend racer thinks that's where you go. That's the Mecca. Yeah. And it just
gets
in the
bad,
more,
right?
Yeah, more and more crowded and more and more crowded. And some of these guys are great drivers and they know how to keep their line, and some of them cross the yellow every other corner, and it kills people. Literally kills people. So
yeah. So in the end, I did almost 3,000 miles in those two rallies. So
wow.
luckily, it was on two different cars.
I got to know. So who carried Dave's luggage? Because he has no frunk in that car. So did you carry his luggage?
No, soft baggage. He packed all soft baggage, jammed it in. He doesn't have a roll bar.
Okay.
So he was able to store behind his seats where I have a roll bar, so everything needed to go in the frunk.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone found their way through, but ultimately, because the logistics were so crazy, you could literally have your baggage down in the lobby and they'll take it to the next location. I didn't do that. So I couldn't fit my helmet anywhere but in the footwell of the passenger seat. So I had to stuff it in there so it didn't roll around. Mm-hmm. But, maybe next time I would do the luggage service.
All right. Do we have anything else car related before we move on to the next thing? All right. We wouldn't be a pseudo watch podcast if we didn't talk about this. So we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. AP and Swatch collab. So we've all seen the hype. We've all seen the crazy videos. We've all seen the new pocket watch, which was not what a lot of the leaks depicted it to be. So what are our thoughts on this Swatch and AP collab?
It's as dumb as the people waiting in line and rushing the stores are. It's awful. It's dumb. Yeah. It's so dumb. And I actually expected to see some in the airport over the weekend, but next time I'm in the airport, I expect to see them hanging off backpacks or luggage next to a Labubu or whatever those fucking things are. It's and a big pair of loafers, like fuzzy loafers on the person that owns
slides.
It. Yeah.
Or Crocs.
Stupid.
Yeah.
My take on it, I'm amazed. Were all of those people flippers trying to get in early to sell on eBay for the people that couldn't do it because they're not limited, right? So it's no different than the Omega collab, right? We all went nuts because that was the first time. It was really interesting. But ultimately, after a few months, you could just pick them up anywhere. So I don't know why everyone was going nuts because it was pretty violent. And what does that say about how we're dealing with this limited edition type of economy or this flip economy where it's not even limited edition at this point and people are still going nuts? So we're trained very well, I guess.
Yep. George?
Yeah, I was going to kind of bring up, I share those opinions, right? So I was kind of think, what differently could I say? And my thought was like, okay, how was this different than the Swatch, the Omega one? It seemed like there was more violence and more disorder than the Omega one. And is that just because maybe it's a different crowd going after the AP? Or because maybe people saw maybe the trend of the resale, and like you said, maybe more of this crowd were resellers than people that wanted it for themselves. I don't know the answer. I'm just asking, right? What was the same versus what was different this time? Because it seemed like this was still different than the Omega one.
Yeah, I mean, this was like a Garth Brooks concert, Ticketmaster in the '90s. It really was. But I think you hit the nail on the head a little bit, George. I think that with Omega, it was the very first kind of like big collab like that, and so no one really knew what to expect. I don't think they really thought it was going to sell as well as it did. And now with AP being a premier brand and then having the history from the Omega, I think that's what it was driving it. There's no doubt in my mind the vast majority of those people online were flippers. They were not there to get their pocket watch.
I find so obviously I'm out of touch with what is like cool in like the urban downtown scene. Like I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Yes, in general, yes. But is like I didn't know really too much about AP until maybe like 5 years ago. Like is AP that in the pop culture. Obviously it is, but that deep into pop culture or hip hop culture or NBA culture or whatever. I mean, to me, that is like a Wall Street guy watch. What is it, the Royal Oak and all that. I mean, that's a cool watch, and it obviously is super expensive and has a cult following, right? I love it. I'll take one. But for me, I don't see it. I don't know it in pop culture. And that's where I get really confused by it. Is like, is the new rap coming out and talking about AP? Because it must be. I just don't know it. And I just think it's interesting.
I think that this is just my opinion. I think it's an aspirational thing, right? So, AP is definitely, people will rag on Rolex, right? Where AP is the next level up from there. And I think it's an aspirational thing where you can have a little piece of AP for a fraction of the cost. And I think it was very similar with Omega as well. But wherever that violence and insane crowds came from, I don't know what drove that.
No. Now I will say, go ahead, Casey.
I think, James, you said something that kind of triggered me here, not in a good way. You said it's aspirational and some people will shit on Rolex because it's a tier up from Rolex. And I was on the Book of Face today, and Vivid Racing, maybe you all had seen it, put out like a 7 comment thread on X or on Facebook only. I'm not real sure. But how 1,000 horsepower, if you don't have 1,000 horsepower, your car ain't shit. And that, 500 horsepower, which is more than enough for everyone, especially on the street. But your car is, agreed. But like, your car's not shit if it doesn't have 1,000 horsepower, right? And as it said, all the broccoli heads, are out there who've got famous off TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and they have these cars and they shit upon everything else. And I kind of, James, I think your point is kind of saying the same thing that AP, we have to have AP because it's the top dog, and now Rolex is not good enough. Yeah. And what a weird, interesting way to look at that. But I think that's actually a good connection with what you're saying there. That a regular watch is not a Rolex, which is an aspirational piece in and of itself, is no longer good enough. You have to go for the $100,000 watch.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, maybe it's also the influencers and the effects of the social media elevating that and taking it to 11 as far as I got to get mine.
Yeah,
right?
It could be. I will say this, just like you guys, I think the pocket watch thing is dumb. I don't have a use for a pocket watch. Now, again, let's face facts. The four of us probably aren't the target market for these watches anyway, So, a young kid, maybe he wants to hang on his backpack like Casey said or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Maybe, just for me, a pocket watch is dumb. Here's what I do like about it. I'm not going to shit on the watch itself, because Swatch did a couple cool things here that I really wish they would have done on the Omega collaboration, which I have. The Omega collaboration is a quartz movement. This is an actual automatic movement. I was doing some research today, and I, to be honest with you, call it naive, call it whatever, I've never really done a deep dive into Swatch. I didn't realize that Swatch even made any automatic movements, but they do,
right?
It's their own movement
of any kind.
Correct. No, it's a Swatch movement, but it's an automatic movement. It's a manual wind because obviously in there they're not going to put in a rotor or anything like that. So it's a manual wind, no big deal there. So is Omega. So that's where I'm like, okay, you make a manual wind movement. Why did you not put that in your Moon Swatch? I mean, that would be more to what it was. But
live and learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's an automatic movement. So I applaud them for that. Here's where I think it might be kind of cool. Okay. Okay. I have no need for a pocket watch. All right. But the colors, it's inspired by their 80s pop kind of like neon, kind of cool colors and all that. And so it would make, especially into vintage Porsche, it would make a pretty cool dash clock. All right. So the first person to 3D print a damn connector to go on the dash and you pop this thing in there. I mean, think about James, who's the kid that works for Dave that's got the pink 911. I think his Instagram is Synthwave or something like that or whatever. It's a hot pink whatever. Dude, Robin. Yeah. The pink and yellow one would fucking look badass on his dash. I mean, so that's what I was thinking about today when I was driving to work. I'm like, what is the use case for this thing? And that's the only thing I can think of. But it would actually make a pretty cool, even they make a black and white one. I forget the name of it, but that would be cool on someone's dash.
I think that's an interesting perspective, but I'm going to disagree with you as far as who needs a pocket watch. I just think everything is so much the same these days. To step out of that comfort zone and come up with something unique. And then how many different types of attachments have we already seen as far as to turn it into a watch? Right. So that you can strap it right on your wrist. So they thought it through, I believe, well, because you can't release something in the next day, attachments to go along with it. It's just like with Apple releases a new phone, they have to let all their vendors know what the specs are in order to create these cases and covers and protectors and such. So I think it was done pretty well. Unfortunately, it's been tarnished with the way it was released in the crowd reaction. But
yeah, it's true.
Wear it however you want. If you want to attach it to a backpack, go for it. If you want to attach it to your dashboard, go for it. You want to put it on your wrist, go for it. That's the beauty of it. It's super flexible, and it's just stepping outside the norm. I think there's a reason why we have fucking white, gray, silver, black cars, because it's making everything beige. No one wants to be different enough to set themselves off, right? We're just used to everything being beige or the standard colors for everything. So for a manufacturer, at least for me, if you step out and do something interesting, I got to give you kudos for that. Do I want one? No, but kudos to you for attempting something unique. That's what I got to say.
I did like the design element in the fact of the regular, because they have a couple different models. The regular ones are bullheads. They put the crown at 12 o'clock, which is cool. But then they have 2 or 3 of them that are chronos. And so on the chrono, they put the crown at 3 o'clock. So it actually hangs differently, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so I mean, I like the execution as far as the what they did. Like I said, the rollout, and here in Orlando, I think I sent you guys a video on Instagram. They didn't sell it. I mean, opening day, it was such a madhouse. They came right out of the store and said, "Listen, we're not selling any. You guys leave." And they didn't sell a single watch the opening day.
I think a few stores have done that.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think they said Charlotte. I think Charlotte was one of them that didn't sell any. Closed down.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah. So that's our coverage of the AP Swatch. I mean, it's going to sell, but to James's point earlier, it'll be 3 months from now. You'll be able to buy bootlegs on Temu or whatever, and you won't know the difference. That's the reality, But we'll see.
I'm to hang on my backpack, like Casey said.
There you go.
Can't wait, George. Can't
wait. Hey, I'm gonna come up mount, man. I'm gonna put it on my dash.
I mean,
Kevin can make that.
Yeah,
they make those mounts for the rally watches.
That's right. No doubt. So
make a smaller one now.
Yeah. Casey, you just got a set of quick jacks. And I was interesting to see how you like them.
So I got the quick jacks. I got the 8000 TSL, I think TSL. I bought this set, this version, because I was told that it would fit under the Cayenne and Panamera. as well as the Cayman and 911. So that was important. I don't have room in my garage for nearly anything additional. So if I was going to do this, it had to work for everything. That was my criteria. I did the measurements and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be really tight. In reality, it's not tight under the Cayman. That fits very easily. It's tight under the Cayenne. And moving the lifting blocks all the way to the extremes, you know how under the Cayenne it's got like it's like a U, an open square where the lift points are.
Yep.
George, you say yeah. All right. So the lifting blocks only hit the two inside edges of those lift points. So I have not tried the SUV extensions, which are blocks with a circle on top. So perhaps that will fit that pad better. I lifted it with the blocks. It did just fine. The blocks stood, like they didn't flip up or collapse to where it would put pressure on the rocker panel. But it works really well. It is heavy, but it lifts well. Mine's quiet. It lifts it quickly. I did, this has air shocks on it, which it says you don't have to use, but I went ahead and filled them up with the 50 pounds of pressure. I used some Porsche ATF fluid in the pump. So it works great. I did oil change on the Cayenne, did an oil change in the Panamera. Everything worked as it was supposed to. I think my all-in purchase price for the quick jacks, the SUV adapters, and then I got the wall hangers, which I can't even freaking use because I got no wall space where it would be appropriate. I think it was $2,400, something like that. And I haven't done any big project yet, but I imagine doing things like freaking changing the wheels or doing any sort of suspension work. This is going to be saving grace. Because I'll tell you, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, I lift the car up on the jack, put it on jack stands, and for whatever reason, I'm still a little nervous under that. I'm going to admit, but I think this will be a little bit more calming. I do the big shake test, very stable, everything's good. So I'm looking forward to, working with it moving forward.
Cool.
They're fairly heavy, right? So do you find them hard to move around?
So one end has little roller wheels. So you just lift up one side. I think each one is like 100 pounds. But I didn't find it hard to move around. And
you didn't skip your leg day.
My garage is weird. I actually have a big rug. Exactly. I have a big rug in the garage, and even moving them across the rug, it was no problem. They slide, to push them under into place. It slides really easily. So
nice.
No, I don't think the weight is a problem at all.
Cool.
I was going to say, Casey, for your Cayenne, you should get the jack pad adapters. So it's basically an insert that fits inside of that rectangle and then gives you a circle pad for your lift or a jack to have even lift surface area on. So
okay, are those by QuickJack or some rando?
There's different. You have different ones. I think there's actually OEMs from Porsche, but then there's a couple different aftermarket options as well.
I think you can go on Amazon.
Send me
those are $2,000.
I'll buy them.
Well, from Porsche, they're a little pricier, but I think even from Porsche, it's like $150 for a set. I think you can get them for half that and a quarter of that, depending on the material you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. I do it, but I recommend it since I don't have, I can't do it. Well, I could, I guess, but I'm not doing a 2-post lift. Maybe a 4-post will make it into the garage at some point, but right now this is much better than rolling on my back under the suspension of the Cayenne on its high setting and trying to crawl into stuff.
I feel like I would feel more comfortable.
And I'll tell you,
with your setup than a 2-post.
Like a regular garage 2-post?
Yeah.
You're just worried about getting the balance right, James? Or what?
Yeah, just, as far as it just seems easier for those quick jacks and having them locking in place and they're really not going to go anywhere. I just feel like that, for me, I trust that more.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm curious what 2-post you're talking about. because we have a 2-post and it's very heavy duty and like bolted in through the concrete, and it's very stable. But so there's different levels of 2-post, I guess.
I'll tell you what prompted the purchase was changing the oil on the Panamera. You got to take off the under panel, right? But any spot that you actually can put the jack has to go under the panel. Like you have to have the panel removed before you can put a jack there. Else you can't get the panel off to get to the oil thing. So I was going to put in like a boat floor, like a bung, like a circular thing that I could just unscrew from the panel and like, sandwich the PVC and have it like an opening. Cause I figured like, I don't want to crawl under here every freaking time. Cause I change the oil like once a month. Right. So that just seems like a lot of times to tempt fate for that jack from Harbor Freight to fall on my skull. So I was under there changing it the last time and I was really sweating. Like this just makes me really freaking nervous. Like it's never collapsed, but like one time it does, and that's all you need, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I got to figure something out. And it was either like get ramps or whatever. And I think the plethora of other work that you can accomplish using the quick jacks makes this setup more advantageous than doing anything else.
Yeah. So for those listening at home that might be tuning in for the first time, and when Casey just said he changes oil once a month, you're like, this guy's a fucking moron. Casey's had his Panamera for around 3 months now, and he's put 16,000 miles on it, Casey?
I think I'm at 14,000 miles. I just hit 63,000, and I bought it at 49.
Right. So Casey is an over-the-road sales guy, and so he's on the road all day, every day. So when he says he changes his oil once a month, there's a reason why.
So many Bibles.
Exactly. So many Bibles. So
maybe that's a good time to give us a 2-minute like long-term review on the Panamera now that you've had a few months.
Okay. I like it.
He definitely likes gas mileage.
So it has a continuous odometer that in the dash. I reset it when I bought it, so it's got all 13 or 14,000 miles that I put in it. My average overall went up a little tick today to 27.1. And the tank of gas that's currently in there is a little over 30 mpg. So again, for as much mileage as I'm putting on, that's super helpful. The things that I don't like, the design of the thermal camera, which I think is really freaking cool thing to have, but where it's placed is awful. And I still haven't found a source that will answer me about replacing the glass, the geranium, whatever type of weird glass at GE. I found sources that listed on their website, and they have the spec, but they won't answer my emails, and I don't know why. I need to learn Cantonese or what is an Indian dialect. I don't know any of those, but that's where the two companies seem to be based, is in China and in India. And let's see, what else do I not like? I don't like that I have to hit the auto stop button every time I restart the car. That's annoying. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a tune that will do that for me. And I'm using a USB adapter wireless for CarPlay. And that can be a little buggy. Not so much the car, although I think a 2018 should have wireless CarPlay. But the little thing is a little buggy and it'll drop out, I don't know, once a week. That's not that big of a deal. But otherwise, the car has been super solid. It, driving in 911 or even the Cayenne, when you go over like a bump one wheel at a time where it drops or rises up, you don't really hear any flex in the body. And I think this with the panoramic roof, I think there's just a little bit of flex, and I'll get a little like, it's not like a lot of movement, but it's like a little like slight creak or pop, which is different. It's not that it doesn't feel solid. It's just, I think the damn thing is so long that how can you keep it that rigid? Because we did the measurement, or I looked up the measurement compared to the 957 is 10 inches longer than that Cayenne. So it's a super long vehicle. The air suspension is obviously super, super comfortable. The lift is very nice when I'm going out to my property. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to drive out to my property with this vehicle, but 19 miles an hour under, you just lift it up, and it's only 1.5 2 inches, whatever, but more than enough to get to where I need to go. But otherwise, super quiet, super efficient, and it's been enjoyable so far.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Very good stuff. That's all I got tonight. You guys got anything else before we say adieu? No? Nope.
I think so.
All right. Awesome. Well, for those listening, thank you very much. Always hit us up on our website, whiskeyWatchesWheels.com, or Instagram, or however you want to. You can send us an email or whatever. And we will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great evening. Peace out.
See you guys.
Bye.